Okay, so I've basically identified 6 different areas for this chapter that we're just going to kind of go over today just to make sure that you're ready for the test. So the first one, I can get my pen to work now today. Why doesn't it want to work for me? Turn that way. Okay, so you need to be able to convert a fraction to decimal. So when we're looking at this, we're talking about converting something like 3/8. And there's 2 ways you can do it. You can either divide it and put it in your calculator, 3 divided by 8. And if it gives you a fraction still, then you have to do it the second way. Most of the time it will give you a decimal. I believe that's the right decimal for 3/8. Maybe it's 3.75. How about 3.75? You guys don't know you're still sleeping. You're still on Thanksgiving break, right?
I wish.
Yeah, 3.75 or 0.375.
Our Thanksgiving was lovely.
So that's one way, just put it in as a division problem. The other way is if you put it in that way and your calculator gives you a fraction, then you hit that F to D button. I'm looking for it on my calculator because, yeah. Yeah, I don't know where it is on mine. Oh, there it is. 3.75. So questions on how to do that. What happens if it's a mixed number? 3 and 2/7? Do you need to worry about the 3?
Improper fraction.
You could turn it into an improper fraction of 23/21, or you can just deal with the fractional part, the 2/7. Put the 2/7 in the calculator and it comes out to 3. I'm not going to drop the 3. I'm going to keep it right there. But the 2/7 part is 0.2857714. And my calculator gives me the repeating sign. I don't think yours does. I think yours would go on until it stops.
Ours just goes on.
Yeah. So 3.285714 repeating. Okay, so that's the first thing you're going to have to do. The second thing, you need to convert a decimal to fraction. So starting out with 0.625, how many decimal places are there? There are 3. So you put 625 over a 1 with 3 zeros. And then you reduce that down. 625 over 1,000 comes out to be 5/8. And all I did from this point is put that in there. So that's one way. The other way, simpler way, 0.625 in there and hit your S to D button or your F to D button. There will not be a problem with a repeating decimal where you have to convert a repeating decimal into a fraction. So what happens if we have a whole number, something like that? Once again, just put it into your calculator. Hit your S to D. Mine just came up with 317 over 100. Can it be reduced down? Yes. And I would have to convert it back to 317 over 100. So your calculator, you have to be able to interpret it. This would be the mixed number for the 317 over 100. Questions on that?
Nope, that seems pretty easy.
Okay.
Nope. No.
There's two types of comparisons that you have to do. Which one's larger? 2/5 or 6/27, and they'll have a circle, and you'll have to put a greater than, a less than, an equal sign. So you can either convert them both to the same fraction, same denominator on the fraction, or you can convert them to a decimal. This one is 0.4. This one is 0.222 repeating. So this would be greater than. Remember when you're
doing
Pardon?
When doing this, can we just cross multiply?
You can just cross multiply. That's another way, yes.
How do we put this in our calculator?
The fractions?
Yeah.
Just divide the top number by the bottom number.
Yeah, 2 divided by 5.
Okay.
And then this one was 6 divided by 27. And that came out to be that.
Didn't we do that a different way in school? I remember
we cross multiplied in last year.
Yeah. Last 2 times 27 is 54. 5 times 6 is 30. The other way on the calculator that we did it was we put 2/5 in as a fraction and hit the F to D button.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Either way.
Miss Ray, can
Yes.
we still just cross multiply still?
You can do whichever method you are comfortable with, as long as you show me your work as to what you did. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So okay. Of these two numbers, which one is larger, which one's smaller? That one, negative 5.2. Negative 5.21. Which one is larger?
Negative 5.2.
And why do you say that one is larger?
Because it's closer to 0.
Okay, thank you. Negatives, you have to be aware that when you're talking negative numbers, the number that is closest to 0 is going to be the largest number. Always think about which one is further to the right on the number line. Okay. And then they'll give you something like this, 2/7, 0.38, and let's go 3/10. Put those in order. 2/7, 3/8, 3/10. Put those in order from least to greatest. That's the other way that they're going to compare the numbers. So when I divide 2 by 7, I get 0.2857. 3 divided by 10 is going to be 0.3. So going least to greatest would be 2/7 is our smallest one. 3/10 is our next one. And 0.38 is our last one as the greatest. And make sure you're going least to greatest or watching the direction of what they want. They may say greatest to least. More than likely, it's going to be least to greatest. So you have to be able to compare decimals, fractions, and put the comparison in there. Then the main part of the chapter is being able to add, subtract, multiply, and divide fractions and mixed numbers. With your calculator, this should not be an issue. Without your calculator, what you have to remember is that adding and subtracting you must have the same denominator. That's the first thing with adding and subtracting. The second thing, the biggest mistake that I saw on assignments when I was grading them was you got a common denominator, only add the numerators. Don't add denominator, just write it down. If I saw someone converted a fraction to like 3 6 plus 2 6, they were telling me that this was equal to 5/12. They added both the numerators and the denominators. Make sure not to do that. It is 5 6. If you have a calculator, you plug in the problem. What you're going to have to pay attention to, though, is the sign, the operational sign. Is it adding or subtracting, or is it multiplying, dividing? And you always want to write your answer in the simplest form. And that means everything is reduced down. Reduced down and mixed number. Okay. Questions on being able to add, subtract, multiply, or divide fractions?
Nope.
Let your
have our calculator.
Yep. Let your tools that you have do the work for you. Now you still have to make sure that the work makes sense. And show me what you're doing.
Miss Reed, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So why are we learning about how to like multiply, add, and subtract fractions when we learned this last year?
Because what we're going to be going into, we're going to be using fractions, so it's more of a refresher. And also, did you get to use calculators last year with it?
No.
No.
Yes.
No, we didn't.
No.
So,
Kevin, no, we did not.
okay, so
Did not use calculator.
my point this year is I want you to start using the tools that you have available to you, because you did already know how to add and subtract last year, but some of you probably have forgotten. So we're refreshing it. Plus, we're adding in how do you do it on a calculator, and what do all those silly buttons with symbols mean? Trying to get you used to using those.
Also with these, they add in like some negative numbers and stuff, and we didn't have that last year.
Right. Yeah.
I believe. I don't think we did it with as much.
Yeah, probably not.
We did negative stuff, but it wasn't with fractions.
Yeah.
Or anything like that.
Okay. And then the last two sections, this one, perimeter. They're going to give you a problem that talks about a perimeter of a figure. If it's a triangle, you have side 1, side 2, side 3. What do you do with those 3 sides? You find the sum of them. So you add them up. So perimeter is the distance around. Okay, so that's what you need to know for that part. And then the last part is that section 7 of being able to convert from one unit to another. I have put the unit conversions that you need, plus a couple more. Just gotta throw them in there to confuse you, right? So if you want to go from pounds, let's go 536 pounds to tons, I would have to know the conversion between pounds and tons. I don't expect you to memorize that. I will give that to you.
Miss Reed.
Yes.
So for let's say for this problem, it's obviously 536 pounds doesn't equal to 1 ton. So for the tons, would we put 0.5 ton or one quarter of a ton? What would we do?
Okay, so for this one, we're going to use our conversion and we're going to say 536 pounds times, and we're going to use that conversion factor from tons to pounds. Tons, 1 ton. Okay, they go tons. This is a bad example because I wouldn't do this to you. In the conversion, they go tons to kilograms. We're not going to do this. We're going to say kilograms. How's that?
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, the conversion chart just goes tons to kilograms, so we won't talk about pounds. I know what it is, but I wouldn't expect you to. So looking at the chart, 907.2 kilograms in 1 ton. So I would do this multiplication then. So it actually would be a division problem, 536 divided by 907.2. And I get 536 kilograms is approximately 0.59 tons. Where is this rounded to? This is rounded to the nearest hundredth. That's the other part of the conversion, is knowing your place value so that you can round to the correct place. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yep.
Thinking back, is there any section in this chapter, and I'll have you look at that tonight, go through the 8 different sections and make sure that you're comfortable with all 8 sections. These are the 6 main points. I combined quite a few of the sections into the add, subtract, multiply, and divide fraction one, but go through and make sure you're comfortable with all those different sections in the book. For tonight, you have your practice test. I want your practice test turned in prior to coming to class tomorrow, because I want to see that you attempted the practice test before we go over it. It's not going to be for a grade. It's just going to be for a completion grade. Did you attempt it, and how did you do on it? Because we're going to go over it tomorrow during class time.
Mrs. Reed,
Yes.
for section F, can you do an example with going from pounds into kilograms, or from our
Yep.
system to the metric system the
Yep.
other way?
Yep. So if I want to go, how about 536 kilograms is approximately how many pounds? So I would have my 536 kilograms, pounds up on top, kilograms on the bottom. My conversion says that 1 pound is 0.4536 kilograms. And I would divide that out. I think what you're asking though, I'll finish this problem out and then I'll do a different one. 536 divided by 0.4536.
Miss Reed, I have a question.
Yes.
Is the test, do we like have the test or is it gonna be online? Like the actual test?
It will be posted. You can print it and work on the printed version if you have access to a printer. If you don't, you can have it up on screen and do your work and show your work and your answers on another piece of paper and submit that. Does that make
Okay,
sense?
thank you.
How about 2.5 miles is approximately how many kilometers? I think this is more of what you were looking for. So 2.5
Yeah.
miles times, and we're going 2 kilometers. We put miles on the bottom. Our conversion says 1 mile is 1.61 kilometers. So the 1.61 is up on top. So 2.5 times 1.61, and we get 4.025. Okay. So whatever you're putting as the second one, you're always putting the unit that you want to go to up on top, the unit that you're given on the bottom, and then you read right from the chart and put the 1 wherever the 1 should go and the other number in front of the other unit. So it can go either on the top, if that's the way the conversion is, or on the bottom for the 1. Okay. So your practice test should be posted by now. And like I said, review the chapter. It's been a while. So go back and look at the different sections. Try your practice test. Your practice test, I want it in before you come to class tomorrow. And then we will go over the practice test.